Gotta stop swearing.
All right, now we're good. Why do those poor little guys not have any padding on their chairs?
Oh, I didn't get that far yet. How do you like the coffee mugs?
Nice.
Hey, when you watch that used cars movie, Dave, you let me know what you think, because you'll probably fall out of the chair laughing.
I tell you what, I'm a Kurt Russell fan. I'll watch anything he has, even when he had Mouseketeer ears on.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, I swear.
I'll watch it tonight.
Did you get to test that receiver?
I did. Same problem outside as inside.
Well,
It was a good idea.
I'm not gonna worry about it. Just I'll fix it.
It bothers me. No, if I don't fix it, you're not going to fix it.
Well, I think I've been a ham for 45 years. I think I know a little bit more electronics than you do.
You're still a drooling moron. You're not going to fix something I can't fix.
Oh, right, Mr. Egotistical, whatever.
Thanks for the movies.
Well, you're welcome.
So I need to share something, and this isn't sub-related, so I feel fine sharing it before everyone else shows up. So for Christmas, I got a Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about it. It's pretty crazy, but I got like the whole, oh, this isn't gonna work now, this stupid thing. Hold on, I gotta turn it off. Virtual video, background, none. There. So I'm all set up. I got like the yoke and the throttles.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole quadrant there.
Got the rudders on the floor, and then my son's off to college, so I stole his monitor. It's like 3 feet wide.
I've got the very same thing coming, the whole gear thing. I love that flight simulator.
Yeah, it's I am absolutely gobsmacked at how realistic it is. It's crazy.
Well, you're a real pilot, so that means something. It was immersive, huh?
Yeah, and the really cool thing is they've actually got I can download my actual make and model of aircraft, so now I can tool around in my plane and stay up. So my plane's still in the shop. I haven't flown it for like months and months, so this is actually making me feel so much better in terms of staying current.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, my brother had his multi-engine rating, and he gave it up because he didn't use it and he was losing it, so he gave it all up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It actually makes me feel better about flying with people. Is in order to stay a pilot, you got to stay current. So
keep the log up.
Use it or lose it.
He even bought 80 acres on top of a mountain to put his own airstrip in.
Oof.
But he never did it. But he got the 80 acres.
Yeah. Now it's a bean field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a campground.
Oh, okay.
Rod, you're muted. I don't know if you're trying to say something. I saw your mouth moving.
Hey, what's the temperature in Texas? It's chilly over here.
Yeah, it's chilly here too. It was high 40s today.
Yeah, we're gonna hit 9 degrees tonight.
My son's on the way back. I just dropped him off at the airport, and it's going to be, oh God, what was it? -9 or something like that.
Yeah. The oil burner hasn't stopped all day.
Same here. Skin jockeys are making a killing on this deal.
I haven't even turned the gas logs on yet.
So Dave, I don't know well, you did catch it, I guess. I did pop an email out to, all those people, anybody that I had email addresses for. So a couple of them got back, actually. Ron Perot out in the UK said he might show up today, so that's kind of cool.
Good. Well, tell them what's coming up.
Yeah, I did. They got the event calendar and all of that stuff. So they're I think 6 hours ahead. So it's 9 o'clock at night there. It's not terrible.
Yeah. Well, it can only help we get more talent involved here.
Yeah, like you said, you get sick and tired of looking at the same ugly faces every week, right?
Oh, I tell you what, this is grueling.
Hey, Frank, what is that above your head? I know it's a plane, but what is that?
Corsair.
Yeah. See the gull wing there?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like an airplane.
Yeah, that was my earlier days.
Damn,
The wings fold too.
that's pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm waiting to see what Steve's got behind him. Looks like he's
got a Corsair also. I'm trying to be like Steve.
no, I'm talking about the Russian, the Ruski sub behind him. Looks like he's been doing something to it.
He posted, I saw the pictures that were posted up on the forums. That's a nice picture of him standing in the woods holding it.
Yeah, it's garnered quite a few likes on Facebook, on the subcommittee forum.
If you ever need a Viking funeral, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I showed my wife that picture. I said, "You think I'm crazy? Look at this guy." And she said, "My God."
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Don't back off, Steve. Big is beautiful.
I like them.
Yeah, till you get just a little bit older.
Yeah, then you get a cradle to launch it.
I bought that boat from Bob at the regatta before last, and I'm thinking, man, I made a mistake. This thing's heavy.
196 scale does it for me.
Launch with one hand.
One toss and you're in the water.
Yep. Just tuck it under your arm.
I got a little show and tell when we get this thing rocking and rolling there, Bob.
Yeah, you bet. Let's give everybody a couple minutes. We're just coming right up on 3 right now. Those FPV goggles, I can't.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I finally entering the 21st century. Well, a little preamble here. Bob and I have been doing this for what? We did this about 20 years ago with poor quality Swan cameras.
Mm-hmm. I remember that was really cool machined housings that you had with the little periscopy thing sticking up out of the top.
I think that was the first time you and I hooked up.
It probably was. Actually, the first interaction that we ever had, I bought one of Total Immersion's little Nautilus kits. And I called you up.
Oh God, yeah.
and I asked you about a cylinder for it. I was like a total and complete newbie, from that perspective, and got you on the phone for a little bit.
Yeah.
You gave me great information, but you were your typical grumpy self. So that was
Well,
good.
the thing is, and I made the same mistake. That was a knockoff kit. This guy stole from Brodeen.
Yeah.
His name was Lee something or other.
Lee Sealer.
And yeah, he said, yeah, I changed the pattern of the rivets a little bit. Well, no, that doesn't cut it. You ripped the guy off. I didn't know it. And but anyway, that's a long and short of that. But yeah, you were always big in that Nautilus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the trouble is, I didn't bump shoulders with you too much because you were part of that stupid ass Nautilus crew. But most of the tin foil hat on the people there are just you think I'm obnoxious. I mean, these were pretentious know-it-all pricks.
Well, they're yeah. If none of you guys have ever had the chance, you need to head over. I think it's called NautilusSubmarine.com.
No, you don't. Do yourself a favor. What the hell are you doing, Bob?
Is the forums and it's the literal definition of rivet counters. Like they will down to the placement of individual rivets, you know, analyze the quality of work. What I do love though is you know, it's a fantasy boat, but they get pretty deep into like the technical aspects of it potentially working, which is kind of interesting.
They took the mantle from Tom Sherman. Tom Sherman was the godfather of practicality as far as taking this fantasy thing and turning it into something that was viable. Now, Bob, me, and other guys have demonstrated you can make this thing work in the water pretty much as is. But these guys, yeah, as far as scale fidelity, yeah, anal, retentive, rivet counting. Like I say,
What was the website again? Nautilus what?
NautilusSubmarine.com.
you can't wait to go there, can you?
No, I've never heard.
So Dave, we're going to come back to you for sure, but because we're on this topic, this will make a ton of sense. Just let me move this over because I want to share out. I'm building one right now for a customer. I want to share this out because it's a kind of a different building methodology. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So this is a 31-inch Nautilus Brodine kit that is being produced by Masterpiece right now. I'm going to be bringing this production in-house, by the way. I'm going to have my own version of these kits.
Oh, wow. You're going to rotocast them?
No, these are all going to be cast in molds.
All right. Glass layup?
Cast resin. I'm not. There's some things that we're doing that are going to be kind of cool, but I'm not doing glass layup. It's too labor intensive.
What about the wall thickness? What's the nominal wall thickness?
It's the same kit. It's thick and ugly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyhow, what I wanted to get into, so this is just like some build pictures I sent to the customer. But what I wanted to show was this internal layout. So typically you'd have a little 2-inch cylinder and Dave, you and I, and who else was it? Kevin? We got in that little email string, the idea about waterproofed components.
Oh.
So so waterproof servos, you know, brushless motors, waterproof battery. The only thing in here, this is do you recognize the box?
Yeah.
Little electrical box from Home Depot. It works so good, and it's clear on the top, and it bolts down. It's completely waterproof. But I've got the pump switch, the electronic speed controller, and the receiver are kind of tucked away inside there. So this, and then this center section, this where it has Nautilus on there, I haven't cleaned it up yet, but that's the ballast tank, and it is contoured to fit the inside of the boat, and it's cut out so that you can actually have the little, you know, couches behind the window there too.
That's
nice.
pretty.
So I'm pretty stoked to get this thing in the water. Monday we'll probably start putting foam in, and you know, without the cylinder, there's so much annular space to tuck foam, and then the entire bottom part, it's on a tray, so the entire bottom part is all open for ballast weights, and I'm pretty stoked. We'll see.
That's 31 inches long?
31, yeah.
Is that the one that I got?
No, you got a 48-inch. 49,
No.
sorry, 49, 48 scale, 49 inches.
No, I got one that's 31 inches. It's black. It came.
Oh, well, then yeah, that's the same one.
Same one? Okay. Yeah. And then I got the 66-inch one.
That's a nice kid.
Yep.
Did you print that ballast tank?
I did, yeah.
How thick is it?
I'm gonna say it is probably 3/32 of an inch thick.
Okay. Did you do anything to seal it, or?
No, I didn't. I did dunk it already, and it doesn't leak. There's no bubbles or anything like that. I will paint it to make it look nice, so that'll actually help seal it as well.
Yeah. I've thought about 3D printing ballast tanks. Just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about, super, I would go as hot as the whatever material it is it'll take. So those layers fuse, really tight against each other. But yeah, at any rate, that was my little Nautilus show and tell. I got some other boats I wanted to show. I got Jason and I were at our pool on Friday, and we trim tested that 48th Gulf that Dwayne built. That is such a cool boat. Oh my God, what a cool boat that is. And I also managed to pick up the Thunder Tiger Seawolf. So it's like the newer version of the Neptune, but not the newest version. So we played with that in the pool too. We'll share that in a bit.
That's a bright orange one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, let's welcome Jason, or as he looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Totally.
It's cold out here.
Actually,
It's cold
I was
out
more
here.
thinking Gandalf with glasses.
How's that?
My face warmer.
How's that sub coming, Jason? You putting more of it together?
I got a little more of the tower going right now. Pretty much done on the tower. I'm working on the 50 cals. Get those, get the guns going. I didn't get really much chance to work on it too much this
Yeah, I
week.
saw the video. That kit's got a few quirks, but once it's done, it's beautiful.
He's got 2.5 weeks to
Yeah,
finish it by his
I can't
own
wait.
estimation.
Hey, like I said, I'm very hopeful.
Oh, his mic's breaking up.
All right, so I stole David's time, so you can do your show and tell now, David.
Oh, just like I mentioned, Bob and I, what was it, 20 years ago, Bob?
Gosh, something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, an outfit out of China, of course, called Swan, SWANN, was in the security camera market. That was when security cameras at the door were becoming a thing. And up to that time, they were all hardwired to the system in the house, which most people weren't up to and didn't want to pay to have it installed. Swan came up with a radio transmitted imagery from the camera as a all-in-one unit, the camera and the transmitter, which then went to a receiver in the house, and this simply hooked up to a VCR or something, so that they could record stuff going on at the porch. Well, Walmart got these packaged from Swan as, I think they were about $100. You got the receiver, you got the camera transmitter, which was a single module, and all the peripherals needed other than a monitor. And you had a wireless video camera. Trouble was, back then, the imagery is what we now laughingly refer to as standard quality, which is
like 320p.
There you go. That put a number to it. So it was fuzzy and grainy, but it was better than nothing. It was cat's meow when Bob and I were playing with it. But now everybody's spoiled it with HD quality. And what's the numbers on typically on good HD, Bob?
Well, I guess like an entry level is like 1024, but like my HD videos are 1900 pixels. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's almost as good as being there. And basically things haven't changed in the system architecture other than the quality of the imagery. And that's because of both the camera and the what's called a ground station, the receiver. All right, without further ado, the camera that you could get for $15 is this guy. And all you need is a 5-volt battery. All right. So that's the entire system that would go into a submarine. And in my case, I'm going to put it in the carry-you and in a Type 23 with a camera looking out through here. The ground station, which today, unlike back in the day, is all inclusive. It has the power supply, the antenna, the imagery, which is projected here. You wear it as goggles, but this particular unit, things have become so sophisticated now, and because the flyers have demanded so many channels of operation, there's at least 40 channels that the camera can talk to the user on. So you have the bands, and then you have the channels, and I think it's about 80 of them. And the nice thing is, these things are so sophisticated now, at the push of a button, this thing will find whatever specific frequency your camera's on. So you don't have to go through a bunch of protocols of marrying the receiver here, the ground station, to the camera out there. So it's all become idiot-proof. And one other feature about the ground station, you can imagine if you're waterside and you got this thing on your head and you're disoriented because your point of view is that of the submarine. I've literally walked into the water by accident. And if it's rough, I've actually gotten seasick wearing these things. So a nice feature is that this ground station, not all of them, can be removed. And this thing then mounted on a tripod and become a monitor so that you can still use your peepers normally to operate the submarine, and you can use this as a reference. Now the idea, my end use of this thing is as a camera platform to record video. You've seen something like that at the latest regatta that Bob ran. He used a lot of the underwater footage I took with an 808 camera. Now I want the ability to real time to aim the camera. In other words, aim the model. So that's why I got this FPV, first person view system, so that I have a means of being on board and directing the submarine to get the imagery I want. That'll be recorded to an SD card, which later is used by guys like Bob to make videos. So that's the long and short of it. And if you'll bear with me with just a minute, I'll turn this thing on. It's nothing more involved than just hooking up the battery. 5 volts is what the system requires. Keep in mind, all this came courtesy of the model airplane guys, because they're the ones who have been driving the technology, all of their drones and whatnot. So this thing is on. It's taking an image. All I have to do is go to my ground station, turn it on. There's my image. And here we are. If I can get this in there.
Yeah.
Move the camera around.
What frequency is it on?
5.8 gigahertz, which is well removed from 2.4. And like I say, we've got a ton of frequency choices, so there won't be any conflict. The antenna is about 2 inches, two and change, but it will require the submarine to keep an antenna above the water for me to be in the loop.
That's what I was gonna, yeah, that's what I was going to ask next.
Yeah, well, it's my plan to have an SD card being driven by this camera on board, so if I have breaks in the loop between the model and me, I still get a recorded imagery without interruption from the model. So I'll have an SD at the ground station, and I'll have an SD on board. So at the end of the day, I'll have an uninterrupted video library of images from the model. So that's the long and short. The ground station, that goggles, it was $60. Image quality is awful, but pretty good for $60. If I really get into it, I can get a thing called Shark, and there are high-end ground stations, goggles, for about $500. But that is just about vision quality stuff. So.
Yeah.
So where did you get, Dave, where did you get that now? Online or at a...
Oh yeah. I just go to FPV, go to Amazon, and you'll find this. let me see.
Now, back in the day, the secret sauce to Dave's Swan camera, and I'm just gonna, as I talk, I want to share this out because I found the video, Dave. It was actually, it wasn't 20 years ago. It was like 13 years ago. It was 2008. This was the video that I took
Ah,
with it mounted to the back of a 96 scale sturgeon. But you can barely figure out what's water and what's
Yeah.
the surface. But
and that's as good as it got.
yeah.
FPV.com has.
I can see back ashore. But at any
Hey,
rate,
Dave.
back then you had actually engineered the antenna extension because it had about a 4 or 5 inch extension, I think, on it.
No, yeah, it had a little piece of coax, but at 2.4, the antenna length, and it's a full wave antenna, is 1.25 inches.
Yep.
And it had to be aimed just right, or you got dropouts.
Yep. So
Yeah.
at any rate, what I was getting at is, there was precision soldering involved, and we had to source the special coax, and it was all sorts of fun. But now we just, like Dave is alluding to, you just go online and poof, you've got it. It's the number one thing. I was just going through my comments on my YouTube channel, and people were like, "What? No FPV? What kind of a stupid hobby is this?" And then you have to start educating them about radio wave theory and all sorts of fun things like that. But at any rate,
Is there an option?
out of the box solution that you literally just like bolt into your tower, it's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure.
A friend of mine's into airplanes, and he's like one of the top engineers in Grumman, and he has something like that. It's probably the same thing, and he switches. You can be the pilot, you could be a gunner, a belly gunner, a turret gunner, a tail gunner, whatever you want in that airplane. He just switches it from one view to the next. Now you got me thinking about the conning tower in the Nautilus, or the Salon, or everything else.
Yeah, the trick is getting the signal out for real-time video. But honestly, I've done first person view operating the subs, and as soon as you submerge, you can't see anything. I mean, unless you're in a swimming pool, there's really no point. So for me, it's more about collecting that really nice HD video of whatever you're going. Just record it online, and on board, and then you can go. And in that case, your point, Frank, you could put 6 HD video cameras aboard the Nautilus and film it from all the different perspectives, in the salon, the wheelhouse, wherever.
Well, my plan is for the sea view to have it through the looking past like a silhouette in the front windows, and when it's at the surface, you'll be able to see the water sloshing by and something like that. I know you're not going to see it underwater. Everything is dirty.
I've done that, Frank. The video's online.
Oh,
Some
yeah?
of those cameras have a piece of coax for the antenna. Is it not possible to extend it just like you do for a submarine?
That's exactly what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. As long as that 1.25 inches is sticking above the water, you could make it a PD runner and get that first person view from below the surface.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with the 23 and the Karu, is run that transmitter antenna up the scope.
Somebody's got some noise going on in the background. I'm just going to randomly mute people who haven't muted their mics.
I know some of those have a different type of antenna, has all the, fancy.
Oh, yeah, dipoles and all that stuff.
Yeah. But some of
you'll
them
see
just
that
have
on your ground
no way.
stations.
Yeah.
I've got one here that has a 64 gigabyte SD card. It's run cam, and I've got them in several of my drones. But yeah, they're high tech, nice stuff. You can pipe them into a flight control computer and select with your controller between different cameras that the flight control computer will control it and give you an on-screen display of telemetry that you select. It's some pretty nice stuff.
Yeah, for FPV, man, if we could figure that out, it would be a game changer. But unfortunately, we're fighting physics, so it's all good. I would way rather just record it online than tow a cable around, behind the boat. But that's just me.
No, I'm with you. I prefer that. But you always want to take one step farther.
Yep. So hey, before we go any further, because I noticed we got Ron Perot, correct? Is that how we pronounce, or is it Parrot? You gotta unmute yourself, Ron. There you go.
It's Perrot.
Parrot.
Parrot.
Yeah, 2 T's.
We've
Perrot is 1 T.
We've had to worship from afar, Ron.
Oh, God, David, don't say that. It's so nice to see you, old chap. How's Ellie? How's Ellie?
Dead. Last
Oh,
year.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, Ron. It's okay, Ron. Things march on.
Oh, and now that's upset me. I really didn't realise, David.
So she left on her terms. Everything's fine. Ron, welcome on board.
For those of you that don't know, Ron Parrott is the founder, owner, and meat and potatoes of R&R Engineering out of the UK, and he's been doing this for a long time. He makes some pretty astounding stuff. I'm carrying right now is 70 and 80 millimeter cylinders, and a few of you have those now in your boats. I've been churning them out pretty regularly. They've been consumed rather quickly, which is pretty cool. And I'm pretty excited about it. Ron shipped me a couple of his Aquabat little submarines, and those are full like static diving submarines, but kind of engineered more like primarily for fun, right? More than anything else. They're not like a scale submarine or anything like that, but they look really cool. So I grabbed 2 of them, and they should be here soon. And I'll do a video write up on them so you guys can see, and hopefully that'll be another product that we'll be able to represent.
I've been following Ron for a long time, and I think I'm the Aquabot. I'll probably be one of your first customers because I've been looking at that for a while. Good to meet you, Ron.
Yeah, and you, Casey. Nice to see you.
So thank you so much for joining us. I know it's getting late in the day over there, but we're certainly honored that you had the chance to join us today.
Well, it's 9:20 p.m. at the moment, and I shall probably be here until about 1 a.m. working on your 80 mil units that you're after.
But hey, Ron, better you than me.
Yeah,
Bob and Frank.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm still here. That's something of an achievement, isn't it?
It is. Hey, I want to thank Bob in particular, and listening to all you guys for all I learned. But thanks, Bob, for giving it a little bit of our what's becoming a reality, the new Southeastern subgroup.
There you go.
We've got about 10 guys here, and it's I'm going to map them out geographically, but it's been amazing. We found, a couple of guys who lived within an hour or so of each other, who never knew the other existed. So that just helps promote the hobby.
And hey, just on that topic, before I forget about it, so we've started Subcon Lone Star, which is the Texas offshoot of the subcommittee, but it's all Texas sub operators. But anybody's able to come in and hang out with us. We have another event that's coming up March 19th tentatively, and we're calling it a trim party. So it's like the springtime. You've done all the building over winter when everything is cold and nasty to go outside. So we'll go out there with a group of people who kind of pretend they know what they're doing, trim the boats out perfectly for spring and summer operations. So we got a beautiful pond just like 5 minutes from my house, Creekwood Park, and we're gonna hang out there for the day. We're gonna rent the pavilion. enjoy the boats, enjoy the company, and then we're going to head back to my place and do barbecue and drinks afterwards. So anybody and everybody is absolutely welcome to come. That's Woodlands, Texas, or Spring, Texas. It's easier to remember. March 19th. So just keep that in mind. I know for some of you that's a long trip, but now everybody's like raised the bar. We got people coming from like Las Vegas to Subfest, so there's no excuse anymore.
One of the greatest things that I ever did was I think it was 93 or 94. I went out to Groton and spent a couple of days there with the guys. I was given a pass by the US Navy, which I have to tell you, I was supposed to hand in, but I didn't, and I kept it, and I've still got it in my wallet to this day. And they were so good. They gave us, me and my friend, when they found out we were English, they gave us the guided tour of Corpus Christi, which is the 688A. And we went all through there. And then I was given the run of the place because I was trying to find accurate information for a 5-inch gun on a gate I was building at the time. And they got one there, so I was able to measure that up. And I had an absolutely fabulous day. But you guys have got some strange ideas of
Oh, we lost you. We don't know what our strange ideas are about.
I'm queuing up for spare. Well, these they put spare ribs on a plate, and there were spare cow ribs. I think they were huge.
Yeah. Well, welcome to America, the land of large portions.
But we've got our own back because we've sent you traffic roundabouts, I'm told. Have I gone?
You're well, thank you so much for joining us. That's awesome. I'm super excited.
Well,
we'll meet up one day, Bob.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got two boats. I got some pictures. I don't have any video of them. Well, actually I do, of the Gulf and the Seawolf, but I'm not going to monopolize. I'm going to turn this over to the group. So
yeah, okay.
Build progress, build challenges, build successes. How are we making out?
Oh, David's had enough. He's off.
What? What do you got for me?
I thought you'd had enough. You were going.
Yeah, these guys piss me off. I just walk.
Hey, Bob, you and I talked about the issue of sealing the two halves of that OTW cylinder I got back from you.
Oh yeah, the ballast tank to the motor compartment.
Gorilla makes a waterproof tape.
There you go.
And it's I think it's about 4 inches wide. Yeah, okay, but I have not tested it yet, but I've got it on the cylinder ready to go. So I'll let you know how it works.
That's awesome. So just for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Dwayne Hill manufactured a massive amount of boats over the course of his career, and Maury ended up with one of the beautiful Type 9 submarine, and the cylinder that he made, the ballast tank and the motor compartment are connected via a bulkhead, but the only thing really kind of keeping them together is an O-ring, and so it'll wiggle and move and split apart if you're not careful. And so his solution was to wrap electrical tape around the joint, which is fine, but Maury seems to have discovered the joys and wonders of Gorilla brand adhesives, and hopefully that'll hold it better. By the way, one of my favorite blues is Gorilla brand CA gel.
Yes.
Gorilla brand CA gel. That stuff is like amazing. If you need a gap filler or something for rough and tumble, tacking bulkheads in place, that stuff is absolutely awesome. Gorilla brand CA gel. I
And
highly
it
recommend
cures hard as a rock.
Will
Yep.
that stuff work on
Yeah.
3D?
Yep, I used it on the Hunley that I'm building, which is off the files from the store, and yeah, that hull is absolutely rock solid using that stuff.
Yep, love it. And it's cheaper than, you know, the name brand, you know, CA glues out there. It's like, I think $4 a tube or something, or a bottle or something like that.
And I can pick it up from my local big box hardware store. Like we've got it's Bunnings here in the UK, it's B&Q, and I think Home Depot in the US. It's on the shelf there everywhere. It's great.
Yep. I ordered it in bulk on like Amazon, but yeah, it's off in Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, it's everywhere. And I don't know how they do it, but if you hit it with accelerator, it'll cure all the way through. Like typically the fixed CAs it'll cure the outside shell, but the accelerator, for whatever reason, I've had really good luck. It cures it all the way through the gel, the compound. So yeah, highly recommended.
I'll second that. I built the 3D printed HMS Astute using that Gorilla Glue. It worked really well.
There you go. We need to buy stock in Gorilla. All right. Anybody else working on stuff? I mean, we touched on it right before. I think the vast majority of you guys jumped on, but Steve, you need to give at least a little bit of a tour of the Typhoon behind you.
Okay. Let me get my camera turned around.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see.
So you've seen the back of it before. And
It's hard to tell on camera. Tell everybody like the approximate dimension.
Okay, well, it's almost 8 feet long. This bench is 8 feet long, so it's just shy of 8 feet. And I did print the missile hatches for it. I got them taped shut right now, obviously, but it's at least 13. It's about 13 inches wide. Very wide hull. And
What kind of a printer?
I used an Ender 5 Plus to print this on. And I don't know how long it took. I lost track of it. I had to get some things done differently to it because at this scale, it needed a little help. But we got it done. 29 pounds of plastic in this.
A rough guess though, like in terms of the hours, is that like a 300-400 hour print?
I really wouldn't even. Some of these parts were probably. Oh golly. I can't even begin to say. I don't know. It took months to do it. So.
What was the type printer one more time, please?
Ender 5 Plus. Yeah, I love that printer. Right now I'm printing another 1/6 Sea Hund on it. So.
I've been looking at that printer. It does look like a real nice place to start.
It's not a bad price. It's got twin Z-axis screws. It's got a good sized print volume, and it's very simple to run. It's a Creality. I've just really enjoyed that printer a lot. I started
How's
out
leveling?
with 3 Pro.
What was the price on it?
I think it was around $600 for the printer.
Well, that's not bad.
Let me just walk over here and.
How was the bed leveling for you?
I don't screw with bed leveling. The only thing I use that BL Touch for is to set the height of it. I could care less about the bed leveling. I level it with the screws and I'm done with it. But this is that second part of the Sea Hund that's printing. And I did make an enclosure for it out of chipboard. And it does have a heater in it. I'm running ABS. So as long as I just don't run out of filament, I'm good to go.
Somebody's got Somebody's got their mic on and it's making a bunch of noise.
There it went. But yeah, this has been a really solid printer for me. Can't complain a bit. So I still use my smaller one for small parts, but it doesn't get as much use because I'm building such big stuff lately.
Very cool. Yeah, that's going to be a cool boat, a really cool boat.
I feel so old-fashioned. I'm still doing things the hard way.
Well, and right now there is still a call for that. You know, there's the quality and durability of a fiberglass hull right now is especially for multiple copies. You know, when you've got a high detail mold and you're churning out, you know, the 3D printer is not quite there yet. All the post processing that you need to do, it's not quite there. Although I will, who was it that just sent me? They did an all resin print of.
That's me, Bob.
Hey, there you go. Yep. Oh, the Alpha. It was the Alpha, wasn't it?
Got a piece of it right here. Show you the detail of it.
That he showed me some close-up photos. Like that is really nice.
I've been
That's
working.
with it.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I've been working on a 32nd scale Type 9 since Adam was a lad. I'll do a bit and then something crops up and I have to get caddy taken on. But this is the periscope shear for the conning tower.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's all in brass.
Finally, a person that works in brass besides me.
Ron, guys like you and me will hold hands as we march off that cliff.
Well, I've done a bow thruster for it. It'll be motor driven. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all fabricated up with gears, and that works quite well off enough for the boat.
So
And
that's
it's
an
8 foot long. And
thruster?
yes, it'll be a bow thruster. The trouble with these big boats is when you got to maneuver them in a small pool. Bear in mind, all our pools are small here. You've got to bring an 8 foot boat round. It's not scale, but it's bloody useful. I've got lots of little
Yeah, lost you, Ron. Your connection is not too good.
of junk I've made. Hang on, 88 for me Type 7.
Oh wow.
That again, it's all brass. I'm not very good with plastic and wood. It doesn't take well to a file, and you slide the file across it and it's all gone. Whereas with brass, you get a bit of time to get it wrong, you know?
I'm going to steal that line.
That's great, Ron.
I'm going to go now because my wife will be off to bed shortly, and then I really have got to get some work done because I've got this guy in Texas who keeps buying bloody units off me, and I get no time.
He makes your life a living hell. Take it from me.
Oh, my wife's wonderful. I'm 40 years this July we've been married, so I think I've done okay.
She's a keeper.
Yeah, well, she could have been out 3 times by now if she'd have wanted.
Good to see you, Ron.
Thank you very much for coming.
I'll see you again soon, Bob. And you, David, you look after yourself.
Good seeing you, Ron.
And you.
Pleasure
Bye
to
now.
meet you.
Bye, Ron.
Bye to all of you.
Pleasure to meet you, Ron.
You too.
All right.
What a good guy.
I'm gonna share out these pictures that I had. This is the Seawolf I got. So when I got it, the controls were all set up weird. Like in order to dive, you use the left stick horizontal, and then the throttle was like right stick vertical, and I don't know. It took some work to go through, but we Jason and I played with this, and you know, these have the, I think, brushless motor upgrade over the standard Thunder Tiger, and bigger control surfaces. It's a rocket. It is so fast. Like we breached it a couple of times. I got most of the boat out of the water, jumping up out of the water. So this one's had some upgrades to it, but super excited. It's just going to be one of those boats where you just kind of like turn it on, throw it in the water, and it just like works. These were taken, so this is the Gulf. This is a Soviet 48 scale Gulf 1 missile submarine. This is it in full submerged trim, so it's only got maybe ½ an inch of tower sticking out of the top there. And that's it, just kind of from another angle. But this is the surface trim. And it's got retracting bow planes on it.
That is a great looking boat.
I was just going to say, it's a good looking, interesting boat too. It's something a little bit different. I like it.
It is, and the really cool thing is when you dive it and you just leave the top of the tower sticking out, it kind of just looks like an RC boat, you know, driving around on the surface, and then it surfaces and there's this like gigantic submarine under it. It's really, really cool.
Does the giant conning tower affect the underwater performance in any way since it's so tall?
Well, as most of you know, when you've got a large, flat, broad surface above the center line of the boat, you're going to get what's called sail-induced roll. So it does tend to pull itself into a turn. But this is not, as most of Dwayne's boats are, it is not like geared for speed. He uses these really, really high efficiency, torquey Pitman motors. And so it doesn't go super fast, but it's very stately and scale. You know, it's actually probably even fast for scale speed, but it's really not a concern in term from a performance perspective. And the stern of it with it's got 3 props, you know, a central prop and then 2 outward props or outboard props. Just a unique boat, and I'm actually, because I sold it before I even got it in the shop. If I would have seen it in person, I would never have sold it. I would have kept it for myself. I'm so upset that it's leaving the shop, but so those are the 2 boats that we got going on. The next one that's going to get trimmed, I got a 48 scale skipjack and then a 48 scale Type 7, and that's the last of Dwayne's boats that'll be going out. And then I got that little 31-inch Nautilus, and then from there, there's that big 10-foot Gatto that's going to be in for refit, and then a completely scratch-built French Arafus submarine. Gentleman sent me rough molds. Masters, not molds, for the hull profile, but everything else I'm going to need to build. So, and that will probably round out, for the most part, my builds. And I'm not really taking on anything new from this point forward. So, except personal projects or ones that I handpick as cool enough for me to play with.
I have a question, Dave. Will that cylinder work in that 196 Thresher?
The one I'm working up for your blueback?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the Mat 4 kit?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, his glass is thin enough. You won't need much ballast tank.
Well, Yo guy in stock, Bob?
No, he's struggling to keep up. I've sold like half a dozen of them, so he's going as quick as he can, but it takes a little time. Right now, I would consider it built to order.
That'll give me a project to work on the rest of the winter.
You got enough shit going on. Back
Well,
off.
I have to get it first. Hush. Watch your movies, old man.
Well,
Hey Bob, those membrane check valves, are you selling them yet?
So here's the thing, the membrane, I got a huge roll out of China for $90. It's like 100 feet long of this membrane. And it works awesome. So I built this little housing for it, and I created a test tube. You breathe through it, it'll breathe up to 1 liter of air per minute under marginal vacuum. So that's like perfect for us. You dunk it in the water, locked off. The problem is you bring it back into the air and it won't let the air through until it dries all the way. And so you're screwed, right? You'd be half-ass surfaced and you'd be sitting there waiting for the membrane to dry out. So I don't know why it's any different than these other ones that I got, that the pre-made ones, but those ones, like, you wait 5 or 10 seconds and then they dry enough for the air to come through. So it's basically useless. I bought 100 meters or 100 feet of this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but
send me a hunk.
Okay, you can play with it. I will send you a piece.
What you know?
But what I did, I took those kind of pre-made ones that are working really, really well, and I actually turned them down. So now they're only about between 1/2 inch or maybe 5/8 of an inch wide, which I know is still too wide for all of these little baby 96 scale boats that you guys like to play with. But it's about as good as I can get right now.
Yeah, because I didn't see them in your shop, sales yet. So I was just wondering if you were selling those pre-made ones yet.
Not yet. No, I need to make sure that they're working properly. The little ones I'm reserving. So I put another order and I got a big batch coming from China, but I need to fulfill all the DiveTribe orders. I got 15 more to do, and then those will be done, the 15 cylinders. And then I'll be listing up not only the cylinders, but all of the maintenance parts, all the motors and servos and snorkel intakes and all of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yep. And I'm actually pretty excited. I've almost got the 2.5 inch all designed out. So that'll be good again for the U96 scale guys. It'll be that'll be a nice size, the 2.5 cylinders. I don't know that I'm going to go the masochistic insane route that Dave went down with 2-inch diameter cylinders. It hurts my brain just thinking about that, so we'll shelve that for the time being. But of course, those are all the popular boats. Everybody's always, they get attracted by like the 72nd scale Type 7 and the Mobius Seaview, right? And they want cylinders to go in them, but those are such tiny boats.
You snob.
I am a snob. And I have nothing but respect for those people that build boats with tweezers. I'm just not one of those people.
Dave, you posted a picture the other day I'd never seen before of a skipjack that was about.
Yeah, it was like a foot long.
Take that, Bob.
How in the world did you get that thing to work?
With the greatest of difficulty. That's 1.25 inch outside diameter cylinder. Yeah, well, that post came because somebody started talking about magnetically coupling servo linkages, and that was a good demonstration of how we did that. But not much demand for those. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear.
No.
That was the old Monogram. Revell, about 3 other companies had those.
I still got, you sent me ages ago, the fitting kit for that is like 1/230th scale or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the little Monogram kit that had the little hatch over the reactor?
One of them had that little feature. I think that was the Revell issue.
Yeah, I built many of those as a kid.
Yeah. Well, with a little recontouring of the bow and the new ass end, yeah, it looks like a skipjack.
Yeah, it had a little model. It had a little model inside of the reactor, and you can take the hatch off and look into the
A
reactor.
little peephole, and man, what entertained kids back then is still amazing to me.
I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing my workshop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I can get this thing to turn around. Okay, yeah. So here's the sub I won at the raffle in 2020.
Oh, look at that.
I've
Is that
got,
Scale Shipyard?
no, it was, I can't remember. Ed supplied this for the, hold on just a minute. Ed supplied it for the raffle.
I can't remember if that was Scale Shipyard or not.
But
Hey, does anybody know, has anybody heard from Lee? Is he still around? Is he still kicking subs hulls out, or?
He's
what I did for,
he's encountered interesting times.
Uh-oh, okay.
I glued a servo mount to the, under the sail, and waterproof servo, made the link, connected it to the sailplane drive shaft.
There you go.
Because Ed had cut this at a kind of a weird angle, he, the top hatch here would split out. So I took aluminum angle and put screws in it, glued it and riveted it on, and did the same thing in here with holes, so that now when I put it on, it holds it tight. And I think I'm going to get some of those little quick release latches for front and back.
Yep.
That's a good fix.
Yeah, nice, good work.
And then so the only thing is it's a little bit in, so I'm going to have to ferret in a little better when I get to that point. He also cut the missile hatch and the torpedo hatches, and I made a mold of these, and I've got doors that I'm going to temporarily glue in until I'm ready to go to that step. My my watertight cylinder mounts are Trek deck. It saws and cuts like wood, is impervious to water, and it's heavy. So that's going to be part of my ballast. This is that watertight cylinder that came out of Steve Hodges' boat when I was at.
That's right, I remember that.
So I'm getting it fitted. Let me flip this over. So I've got, there we go. I've got my U-joints in there, yeah, I can't even think of the terminology.
Yokes.
That's in there. And then I did use some of the 3D print parts for the dive planes and stabilizers, and the mount for the drive shaft, and the propeller. And I just cut it off, and I put a 1/4 inch
set screw.
Yeah, set screw, but wheel collar is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting old and anal, but
aren't we all?
So anyway, in its previous life, the shed fell in at Ed's house and broke the whole back end of this, and his buddy fixed it, but I was trying to cut into it and I messed it up, so I've got a new cover plate to go on there. But this is the other thing that's been taking so much of my time.
Whoa.
You got your vans?
Yeah, it's an RV6A.
That's the biggest model I've ever seen.
Well, this is about my 7th one of these. This is my cousin's. He's out flying mine right now. So
Last panels I see. Garmin?
It's a beauty.
That's nice.
So anyway, And so
What submarine was that?
that's a 688.
Could you show how you aligned your shaft a little bit more for me? I've got the same sort of problem on a sturgeon that somebody glued the ass end on, and I can't get the foundation mount in there.
Well, I basically bondoed it in. I don't know if you can see that or not. There, where am I at? There I am. This is the three-legged shape that is part of the 3D print for the 688 that Bob sent out. I don't have a 3D printer. My buddy does my printing for me, and he did some alterations, and then I cut it off and glued it in, and did the same thing with the dive planes. But and I've got the magnetic quick connects for the control surfaces.
How did you put in the foundation for the bearings in the where the propeller is in the very back?
Right here, there was already a hole, and I took some nylon and cut it to size and drilled a hole in it, and just basically glued it in with Bondo and so on and so forth. I don't know, am I looking at this right?
So basically you just aligned your shaft between the two points.
As best as it was already flat, and when it goes in, it looks pretty dang good, at least I think. Hang on. And fortunately the hole that was already there was pretty centered. I still have some cleanup to do back here, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it as it is.
Bob's got a great video on mounting that shaft in his Upholder series of builds.
Oh, that's good to know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
You remember that, Bob?
No, I don't remember.
It's all a blur.
The big thing with that is, like, it's tempting to take like an oil light and press fit it into that perfect hole that you drill in the stern, and you glue it and yahoo, and then you put the shaft in, and it's like a half an inch off center, right? When it goes that 12 inches into the boat, you always, like, trial fit. So push it in place. A little bit of slop is not a bad thing in this particular case. And then get your reverse thrust bushing. We talked about this last time. Get that in place in the forward part, lock that in, lock the rear in, and you've got a perfectly aligned shaft. So yeah, don't always, measure first, glue once.
Steve, you were the one that sent me that mount for the skipjack, were you not, that had the bushing in it? The 3D one?
I'm not sure. Did I do that?
I think you did. You had one for your 172nd skipjack, and I looked at it and I said, man, I'd like to have one of those, and you sent me one. And that's
I might have, yeah.
That's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's a great, if anybody's building a 172nd skipjack, that is one great add-on.
Yeah, I just use that to stabilize the front end of that drive shaft.
And it works. It works. When we have a lull before we go, Bob, I want to ask you something that you mentioned a while back.
You can ask me now, because I need to leave in a couple of minutes. We got dinner plans tonight. We gotta get it before.
Would you take a minute and tell us the story about the guys in the dark sunglasses? I've never heard that story, and I heard it alluded to a while back. Something about a prop that somebody had to change because somebody from the government said, hey,
well, that was on the forum. So that was actually, I think, Thor who posted that up, and Merriman might actually know this story better than me. Maybe he better tell this one.
The problem is when you have a general audience, you don't know who's in the audience. Propulsors is a specialty with me. I pay particular attention to the design and manufacture, and I had occasion to design and build pump jets for scale models of Seawolf. This was at least 20 years ago. This was in the late late 80s, early 90s. Anyway, long story short, some guy purporting to be an authority demanded that I remove the propulsor's rotor from a model. And I informed him what location and direction it could take. And that was the end of that. I was later informed that that guy was NIS. The rest of my naval career prior to that, I had another incident like that. But when I was in the Navy, they made sure to make my career interesting. And I was retired at the point of this incident, and already having been fried once. After being told it was NIS, Ellie and I kind of laid low for a while, but nothing came of it. The trouble is that you got a lot of self-appointed authorities who think they know the security manual, and they don't. And the worst part of these guys is that they want to show off how clever they are by threatening some stranger who they think has breached security. And I have very little patience for that kind of guy, so I tend to dig my holes deeper than they should be. That's kind of a long story short.
So if I understand it correctly, basically, like, it's not like you had access to the engineering drawings for the Seawolf propulsor, right?
All public domain.
You made a public, an educated guess about the best way that this propulsor setup would have looked. And this guy came up and said, holy crap, this is a little too close to what the actual thing looks like. And we need to
and he broke the first tenet of security. Do not confirm or deny. Well, thanks for the confirmation, asshole.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you need to keep Columbia out of Groton for at least another 10 years.
That's
I
right.
don't give a crap. My propulsor is what I laid out on that printer, and that's what it is, and it works great.
But the thing is, the whole boat and the launch and then be built.
Yeah, I've had people say, "Oh, wow, hey," but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we have yet to see one. So,
yeah.
So, Bob,
Hey.
I-400, real quick, and then you can get the
I got the prototype, done out. For all of you guys though that are looking to print it in like huge scales, the thing I'm worried about, because back when I did, started it, I was running into all those problems with warped hulls, and so I went from 3 millimeter to 4 millimeter walls. If you scale that up twice, you're at 8 millimeters. That's going to be a thick ass boat. That's going to be, quasi bulletproof, and it'll end up probably weighing like 60 pounds with, filament. You'll be happy to more than welcome to, take the files and run with them. But I'm getting close. It's all done. Actually, it's assembled, it's primed, it's painted. Jason can tell you it's sitting on the shelf. We have a cylinder we're going to drop into it, but it's basically there. I just need the time. Right now my focus is getting these cylinders out. I have to get those knocked out for people.
Okay, Nick, go ahead.
I was going to ask Dave really quick. Have you ever tried making a propulsor for a torpedo?
Yeah.
How'd it work?
I didn't try for counter rotating. I was able to make the blades, but and it went around and around, and torque rolled and did everything expected. Just didn't blow up my skirt.
Yeah, I always kind of wondered about that ever since I was doing those counter rotating ones to get rid of that.
That was some work, man.
Thanks, man. It'd be really cool if, the single prop it's such an easier build, right? So if you could get a propulsor to counteract that torque spin on it.
You want that torque. It stabilizes the weapon. You want it rolling.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta leave. I'm gonna leave you guys to talk.
Thanks, Bob.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, who's running this thing? Who's got the say so?
I'll let you do it.
Me?
Saya,
Good.
sayonara.
Kiss my ass.